This is KLMO 98.9 FM Delhi San Antonio. K221GF 921 of San Antonio. This is KLMO 98.9 and 92.1 FM. We are San Antonio. Columbus Broadcasting Station.
KLMO, KLMO Tejano, 90.9 FM, San Antonio's 92.1. We are San Antonio. Good Saturday morning. Bienvenidos. Welcome to Life Stories with April Monterrosa.
Good morning. Happy Saturday, San Antonio. Welcome to Live Stories. Yes, my name is April Monterosa, and I'm the publisher of Live from the Southside Magazine. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I have two incredible guests, Robert and Lily Garcia, owners of CPA
Garcia.
Guy. I'm sorry, owners of I Have a CPA Guy. Welcome to my show.
Yes, good morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning. I know it's a little early, guys. I'm an early bird, so this is great for me. But y'all guys look a little tired today. Why?
A long week.
Yes.
Yeah, being self-employed is harder than it looks on social media, right? We make it look very easy and interesting and fun. So, but we also had a really cool party last night.
Yeah, we had a holiday party last night. When I
Not
was-
us, but we were invited. So we were guests.
Okay, well, work hard, play hard, right? Well,
Yeah.
I like to have my guests introduce themselves. So, Robert, you go first.
Okay. Hi. So name's Robert Garcia, but everybody calls me CPA Guy. When we first started, we just kind of put this shtick together, and so a lot of people. What we've done is we've really just built it into the community, right? And it kind of just stuck because I was wearing my shirt a lot. It's my signature uniform, so I still wear my shirt. I also have a hoodie, right? So I pretty much don't go outside of the house without being branded. Yeah, family of 8 brothers and sisters. Graduate from UTSA.
Nice. And Lily?
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily Garcia, and I am the director of fun for I Have a CPA Guy. So I love my role. Next to my husband, we started this business. He brought me along, so I do all of our marketing, our communications outreach, our customer experience, and it's been a journey the past 2 years growing our business.
How did I Have a CPA Guy start?
Ooh, that's a good question. You go ahead. And
I'll
start.
give you the boring
Yeah.
side. So I was working corporate America, and I have a really good friend of mine. She's no longer an immigration attorney, but she was at the time, and so she had a client that was on an investment visa, and so she goes, "Hey, they're having some hard time with their bookkeeper. I don't know if it's a language barrier or whatever, but can you come by and take a look at their books?" I said, "Sure, happy to." Went down there, took a look at some stuff, didn't really find anything, kind of gave her some tips. And my friend, as every entrepreneur does, right? So we'll tell you, like, you got to start your own thing. Start your own thing. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Corporate America, it's a $4 billion company. They tell you, the system tells you got to go through corporate America, make your bones. And so I had a couple other advice. And so what I did was I said, yeah, I'm licensed. I better make sure that I'm putting my license and setting everything up with the board and stuff. So we created the company. And we created the company wanting to match every other industry, our industry, which was a boring, power colors, red, right, golds, that kind of stuff. And so we were like, yeah, we got to have a power logo and power colors, and for 7 years. So we've been in existence for 9 years. So September 13th was 9 years. So our 10 years coming up, right? We got some big things, coming up for 10 years. But it just didn't fit. It just didn't feel like us. Every time we talked to people, I just couldn't represent myself in front of them. And so I told, Lily, I said, we've got to find an interesting story, right? So Lily really didn't want to work with me when we first started.
Yeah,
at
true
all.
story. Yep.
I-
Like he said, he
And
started.
we're gonna get into that.
Okay.
Sure,
because
sure.
Yeah,
I
okay.
come from a mom and pop duo. So
Yeah, the dynamics there. So I asked her, I said, babe, I'm working, right? I don't do creativity. So can we find something? Just find something that's out there that's us.
So he asked me, think of something that that represents us and will stand out for our firm. And I was literally, true story. I was on my way to Target. I was thinking, I was like, what should we call ourselves? What should we call the firm? Something fun. And it was actually around Christmas time, the holidays, and everyone talks about they have like a UPS guy, an Amazon guy, their plumber guy. And so in my head, I was like, well, he can be a CPA guy. Everyone, and that's when I thought of the hashtag. Well, it would be cool if if our clients or people from the community can start saying, I have a CPA guy. right? And that's, and be proud of it, and we represent everyone, and so, and Robert's like, no, I wasn't. He first was like, I don't know, it sounds too, stickish, like gimmicky, and I was like, yeah, it is. And so and I was like, well, I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna post it on my personal Facebook page, and I did. I was like, hey, upcoming tax season, you need a guy. I have a CPA guy, and my thread, I received a lot of engagement on that thread. People was like, oh my god, I love that name, and so your husband's a CPA guy, and I was like, yep, my husband's a CPA guy, and that's where it took off.
Nice.
We got a lot of love from the community, but I'll tell you, we didn't get a lot of love from the CPA community, right? And not in a bad way. It's just, it's CPA's, professional, right? And so
Well,
we're
you're
changing that.
professional too. You just have your own
Way.
We're influencing it
and
different.
it goes back to that saying, I know a guy. Well, I have a CPA guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And be
that's
proud
cool.
to say it. And
For sure.
we're very proud of our brand, very proud.
Well, you can tell, and you guys do amazing. You do a lot for
Thank
the
you.
community.
Thank you.
What types of organizations are you affiliated with? Because you're literally out there, boots on the ground, helping small business owners and nonprofits and things like that, sharing your knowledge, and you could tell you're very passionate about that. So what are some of the organizations that you work with or collaborate with, I should say?
Yeah, the energy's not there this morning, but the passion is there. If you spend 5 minutes with me, you'll completely understand what we're trying to do and how we do it, and why we're never going to stop doing it, and why we're going to try to do it better than everyone else. I think we're part of every community, honestly, right? It's a very generic answer, but what I mean by that is anybody that's willing to bring us to the table and invite us, we're there. We're part of your community. We're going to help you officially, whether we're on the board or whether we're paid or not paid, and we're not paid for anything that we do, just by the way. But officially, so I sit on the San Antonio Hispanic Chambers Government Affairs and Small Business Economic Development Committee, trying to understand, policy, trying to understand what the economics of the state of San Antonio is, to better represent my clients, right? I want them to understand what's coming. San Antonio AIDS Foundation, I'm their treasurer, right? So this is January will be completing a year. I just got asked to be on Texas A&M San Antonio's experiential business advisory council. So I'm really excited about that. I have some really good friends.
Congratulations.
Yeah, shout out to Christina and Kristen. I'm Karen, sorry, and Clarissa. So appreciate the invite there, and they've always had really good outreach for us. I think that's it for me.
I know it
I
seems
feel
like
like-
it's not because you do a lot. It
Yeah,
seems like there's like
yeah.
more that you're missing. So we're members of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I am part of the Latina Leadership Organization. I just currently served the steering committee. The program for this year it ended in October, and then so now for the upcoming year I'll be serving on the leadership committee. So I'm excited about that because I get to oversee all the leadership programs for the chamber. And then I am currently the board of secretary for a nonprofit organization here in San Antonio. It's Boardroom Project. Very proud. So our mission is we develop young girls and professional women of color because we need more Latinas, more women of color, at the table, and we help them develop into business, board, and community leaders.
Nice. Yeah, I want my girls to go to one of those classes.
Yes, you need to bring
I
your
think
girls.
that's super cool, and I kind of mold them in my own way at home, but I think they need to see other girls their age because I think sometimes they feel like they're a little different,
Hmm.
because they're growing up around like entrepreneurship and things like that
Yeah.
when their friends are not. So it would be really cool for them to be around other girls their
Absolutely.
same age that are being exposed to that.
Yes.
So what are some of the, I guess, highlights of what you do? Because your job, it's not boring. Take the
No.
numbers out.
No.
Take the number
No,
part
leave
out.
them in.
Yeah.
Leave them in.
That's boring. Uh,
That's boring.
but you're really, both of you are very engaged with your clients.
I encourage everybody, and somebody told me this a long time ago, like, develop a brag book, right? And that's basically writing down kind of the highlights and the accomplishments of your career. And as you go through your career, it's something that you can do, when you're speaking with your supervisor. And, we always forget throughout the year, right? We do big things and we move on. I've always felt it's just my job to just be accountable and responsible and work hard, right? Support people, love people. That's it. So I go and I set a goal, and we go and we accomplish that goal, and and then I'm just ready to move to the next thing. So the energy comes from, yeah, just wanting to make a difference. I tell people this all the time, all the time. Um, I want to be the person that believes in somebody that needs somebody to believe in them. Like, it's like, honestly, like, that's the biggest thing, because for me, I always felt I was one or two people away from the success I wanted to see. Right? It's not dollars, it's not big houses, it's not any of that stuff. We don't lead that way. So, the energy that I have right now is because I get to do the things that I want to do. And when I left corporate America, I mean, it was just, I kept reflecting about the things that what I was told about me in corporate America. Sometimes I wasn't a team player. Sometimes I was, strong minded or strong willed or whatever, right? Whatever. I was rough. I came from my brothers and sisters. I was rough. Nobody taught me how to do these things. And so I get to do these things. 2 years later, I mean, the highlights are, yeah, we've gone through some amazing leadership programs. It's taught us some amazing things. We got to be on, committee, the leadership committee for those programs. I won valedictorian out of 32 amazing individuals and participants in our cohort, which just reminded me that we have an impact. If we show up and do all the right things, we have an impact. I mean, we've done pro bono work on, for clients and things like that, because it's needed. We should be out there in the industry supporting them with what little resources we have. Um, I at the end of the day, I mean, it's really hard to pin down something, because I just don't see the world that way. So for me, like, I look at those things and say, how it's Lily hates this, right? Because we're working together all the time. It's like, how can we do this better? What do we need to do? And it's like, you're already doing a good job. Everybody says it, right, but that's just not enough. There's still more. There's more room. There's more room to keep on evolving. Um, and right now into 2023, I mean, we just keep on thinking about new ways to integrate and grow the business. People need operational help. How can I do that? They need HR help. Right? Who's doing that, and how can I connect them? Like, it's systematic, right? I can't just do finances and accounting and taxes and give it to you and go, oh yeah, here, this is all you need. No, it's not. And sometimes the conversations I have are like, counseling conversations. It has
Yes,
Yes,
nothing to
it
do
that
with.
I
is.
know. And you know what?
It
It's
is.
funny. When you mentioned, you just keep going. Like it's never enough. I think that's entrepreneur mindset,
Mhm.
because you set up these goals or little accomplishments for yourself, and then you reach them, and you're like, yeah, okay. Like it. People see it like, whoa, you did this or you did that, and to you, it's like, yeah,
I,
because
I,
it's never enough.
so, like, I think it's a little bit cultural, because I didn't grow up, really feeling like I could do a lot of things. I knew they were out there, right? But I didn't know that like, hey, you can be CEO, and then you're working towards this goal of CEO, right? There wasn't none of that. Um, but yeah, I mean, for me, I'm learning to be confident in the things that we're doing, but I'm also reminding myself to invite people into those conversations and not just go and quote unquote post it on social media like, this is a big deal. Like, no, it's a big deal for me, and it's confidence for me. But I want everybody else to know you can take a similar path, or I can help you take the path that works best for you, and that may not be a leadership program. Like, that's okay too. I do want to say that, on the highlight part, we built a really strong network of friends and stuff, and so really proud of the friends that we have met. And I know I'm
Mhm.
not going to name everybody, and this isn't an award show, but I do want to shout out, right, Jason Maciate and Lori, Alvarez. Like, they have been really, really, really good friends to us this year and supportive. I mean, text messages all the time and just, hey, how's everybody doing? Like, I can't tell you how impactful and important those things are.
Mhm.
So building that community of people that understand it, understand the entrepreneurship, understand what we're doing, has been absolutely immeasurable. Because in the past, I'd look around in my circle and nobody understood what we were doing.
That's what happens when you go from corporate America. I was in corporate America myself to entrepreneur life. I mean, straight up, just straight entrepreneur life. Your network, your circle changes, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and the mindset is different.
Mhm.
It's so different. You do your 8 to 4, your 9 to 5, and then that's it. When you're in entrepreneur life, everyone always has something going on all the time,
Yeah.
whether it's serving on a board or speaking engagements or whatever. So, Lily, what are some of your highlights?
Ooh. Well, I love my role. So as director of fun, I love building the relationship with their clients and meeting our small businesses in the community. That's my favorite part of of what we do is hearing their stories. Not only hearing their stories, but also how can we help them? Right? They're always willing to share with us their struggles and their barriers. And then Robert and I would go home. We're like, oh my God, how can we fix this problem? We're always thinking of ways, of how we can, find solutions for our small business community, and that's my favorite part of this. I mean, he's the one that deals with the numbers.
He gets the real
Yeah,
fun
he's
stuff.
the one.
The real fun
The
stuff,
real,
yeah.
yes, the real stuff. So and yeah, I mean, and it's really, I mean, what we do it in our way, like you said, right? We're not your traditional CPA firm. That's not who we are, and we offer the traditional services, but we're out there for our community, and we truly care.
Well, and so she like she was with LLI. They put together the women's luncheon, right? So that was something they put together that was sold out, right? So there's a few things too there that she doesn't highlight. Excuse me.
Thank you.
It's well, I mean, it's easier for me to highlight other people, right?
It's
That's
always,
just
yeah,
natural
For
for
sure,
me
for
than
sure.
to just go like me, 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 me. But also just to say this too, because want to make sure that like with the CPA industry, we definitely have to change. But what we do is was unique to us. That's what we want to do. I don't think that there's anybody else that says, "Oh, I have to then model that." Certainly, we would love the influence of, but I get this all the time. People don't realize that I'm a CPA because of the energy and
Mhm.
the being extroverted and you just all of that stuff, right? They're just like, you should have been a lawyer. You should have been a politician. Like you should. I'm like, I don't want to be any of those things. I'm
All
good.
right. Well, we're going to take a short music break. And when we come back, Robert and Lily are going to share why you should have a CPA. We'll be right back.
Cada vez que yo te miro, no sé cómo explicar que yo quiero ser tu amante y darte felicidad. Yo quiero tenerte a mi lado, darte todo mi amor, pa' que sepas lo que yo siento dentro de mi corazón. Son tus miradas que adoro, que me hacen sentir calor. Por eso te quiero, mi sueño, con una loca pasión. Son tus miradas. Cada vez que yo te miro, no sé cómo explicar que yo quiero ser tu amante y darte felicidad. Son tus miradas que adoro, que me hacen sentir calor. Por eso te quiero, mi sueño, con una loca pasión. Son tus miradas que adoro. Cuando te veo pasar, me estoy enamorando, desesperando. Cada día más y más. Son tus miradas.
We got
KLMOK Alamo 90.9 FM, San Antonio's 92.1. Good Saturday morning. We're back with Life Stories with April Monterosa.
All right, guys, welcome back. So tell us, why should you have a CPA?
go. That's you.
Because you should. That's why. Yeah, in the landscape of what we do, and the way that things are changing, it's critical to really understand what your business is. for me, the passion is I'm trying to build a vision. I'm trying to build my vision and my vision, right? Like, and I know what that feels like. I really do. Um, and that's why we're everywhere. That's why we partner. That's why we do the things we do. So when I look at small businesses, I know that they want to build something. They want to sell something that they love, right? It doesn't matter what other people think. You know, it could be a trinket, it could be a service nobody wants, it could be a service everybody wants. But I know that the key to success, right? And I tell people this too, like we have a superpower, which is really helping support the small business understanding their financials. And it's not just bookkeeping, it's not just that. You know, you have to understand that when you make decisions of how many products you're going to make or sell or hope to sell, you have to understand what the cost is, right? You really have to understand that the decisions you make to hire, fire, whatever it is, how that's going to impact you, not just today, but later. Now that sounds complicated, right? But it's really not, right? We do a really good job of trying to make sure that we're creating building blocks for people. But, you know, with the ever changing, you know, credits, with the ever changing, you know, grants that are out there with marketing, right? Digital marketing is huge right now. I mean, it's been huge, but most people didn't. They still wanted a website, right? Websites are almost obsolete at this point. Like you have to really have the digital media presence. You do. We know that. We get that, right? You know, we're pretty good at that. So, you know, for me, like having a CPA means that you have somebody. Again, you're part of our I have a CPA guy community. You know, we're collaborative. We're shouting people out. We're supporting people, but we're also trying to teach you and empower you to understand what those financials are, understand what your tax impact is, right? Reduce that anxiety and that stress. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the key to success for me is not just selling. Like there are talented people that can sell whatever and make a ton of money, and their financials are in a complete disarray, but they make a bunch of money, so they're okay. But that's not the case for everybody, right? There are so many small businesses that fail. So, you know, you if you're going to start out, you want to. It doesn't have to be a CPA necessarily, in my opinion, but you have to understand people that you're working with. Do they understand the industry, and do they understand how to teach you some things? And for us, that's something we're trying to build in our firm as we grow and as we bring on interns, is to really lean into those conversations because that's what it's about, right? It's about really making sure that we're empowering people to be successful in their business. And also, if you're not successful, like that's okay too. Now you've learned something, right, to be more successful on the next venture because sometimes that happens.
Uh,
Nice.
yeah, no, I would like to add to that. So, like you said, so for us, it's very important that we build relationships, right? And as a small business owner, I think it's very important that you build your tribe. And then within you building your tribe, you build your mentors. You know, as a small business owner, we feel like we have to do it all by ourselves, and you don't. You know, you do not have to do it by yourself. You don't have to have the answers to everything, and that's where your tribe comes in. And we have learned that we have, and like Robert mentioned, we have slowly built our tribe, and we're very grateful for them. You know, we can reach out to them for anything, and so I think within that tribe, it's important that you have your mentors. Even like for a small business, you know, for us this past year, we've been really focusing on building a team. You know, having your photographer, your you know your video guy, and mentors. You know, a business coach, and then within your tribe, you need a CPA. The CPA is the one that's going to help you tell you where your business is going. You know, to analyze how your business is doing, your next steps. You know, can you afford that extra food truck or mobile truck? You know, a storefront. So I think that's why it's very important to have a CPA in your tribe as you're building your business.
A good CPA should be coaching you on those things.
I agree.
That's the thing.
I agree. I meet a lot of small business owners that they either work really hard at their 9 to 5 and they're saving and saving and saving and saving, and then they go and just chunk out all their savings on a business endeavor without being knowledgeable in anything.
Mhm.
And because of digital marketing, they think, ah, that's I'm gonna be rich tomorrow. Like that's not how
It's my son back there. He wants to be a
entrepreneurship
YouTuber.
works at all.
No, no. And having that coach, that's the thing. I mean, you know, I'll tell you, the people that we work with, right, and intentionally work with is the small business owner. Like it's those micro small businesses. And you have to tell them sometime. I have a conversation with the groomer. How's business? Great. Booked. Cool.
Mhm.
When's that second truck coming? Ugh. You know, it's not a cost I want to do right now, and I don't want to manage HR. I'm like, but you're booked. You're booked months out.
Months.
That means people want your service. Start thinking about that. That is such a hard concept for them to think about. And that's part of where we come in and say, well, you need to, right? If you want to build what you're looking to build for you and your family.
How do you approach a client that financially they're ready to build, but emotionally and mentally they're not?
You know, so this is an area that I will tell you that I'm absolutely successful at. I think I'm better at having those conversations with people because I've walked the journey. I'm still walking the journey, right? We did 7 years, and in 7 years, we quit corporate America to do this full time. So it's kind of like we're new, but we're still old. But we get it. We know what not having a tribe means, not having a circle of entrepreneurs are. We understand, what the struggles are. We understand the highs and lows. We all get there. We see these things, in that person has everything. Not always, right? Some of us, want to continue to grow. So when I talk to clients, when I have my discovery call, when you call me, you're gonna get a conversation about what it is that you want to do and why. You're not gonna get a conversation about what we do. If you ask me, I'll tell you, hey, we're gonna do this, right? This is what our bookkeeping services start at. Like, no, I don't care for that. I will tell you after our conversation where I think you might need to go, and that may not be with me. That may be a smaller package. It may be the more expensive package, but I'm going to understand what you need, and I'm going to talk to you first about what you need. I had a conversation with a lady who was going through a divorce. She had diagnosed cancer, and all I did was her tax return. That is all I did annually. And I stopped and I listened to her, and I probably talked to her for about 45 minutes. And I said, well, look, stop. Where do you need to be right now? Is your health more important? Is your side hustle important? What gives you energy? What's going to motivate you? And she said, no, this is like what's helpful for me. And I go, okay, then keep doing that. But be careful. We talk nothing about taxes or nothing about the business. And for her, that was what she needed. And I mean, we've gotten, random emails and text messages going, hey, thank you so much for just being our CPA guy. And that means the world to me. But I understand in the leadership programs that we've been a part of and the tribe that we've been part of has helped me, stop and think about clients first in that way so that we are coaching and mentoring first. Like we tell people, we coach, we mentor, we lead, and yes, we'll do bookkeeping and taxes, right? That's there. But all of the other things that we try to do, that's what we do first because it is about people first. And people say that shit all the time. Sorry. People say that all the time, but it's true. For us, it's 100% true. We stand by that, and it's not a revenue model. People will tell us all the time, you know how you can make more money? I don't care. If it's not about putting people first and the way we want to do it, I won't do it. Could care less. I make less money now than I did at corporate America 2 years later, and I am 10 times happier for the things that we're doing. But the money will come as we continue to build that community, but people have to succeed first before we succeed.
Sure. What have been some of your challenges in what you do with clients?
Working with your spouse is a challenge.
And we're going to get to that.
I know.
But
Don't jump ahead.
I'm putting that hook out there. I think the biggest challenge is having confidence in ourselves, right? Entrepreneurs, people think that we got it figured out, that we carry ourselves really well. Well, we do, but it's practice, right? I mean, it takes time, and it takes a lot of conversations with people. Having confidence that we're doing something. There's times where I walk into a room, there's a bigger CPA firm, and I'm intimidated. I mean, that's just the truth, right? And I'm just like, man, they've got 12 people on their team, 25 people on their team. I'm never gonna get there. I can't even get one person on my team, which we're getting somebody in January, so that's one, boom. But so that carrying that and reminding myself, I'm doing good. I don't care if anybody likes my shirt or doesn't like my shirt. That's me. That's who I am. Really thinking about pricing. Right? Understanding, how much time and energy I'm giving into each client, making clients more accountable to me, right? Tell them all the time, we're working together. We work together. I don't work for you. We work together. This is a relationship. And so part of that now is to, so man, do I have to chase this person down? Because if I am, they may not be who we want to work with. And that's hard for me. But I also understand that I've got 50 other people that would love to work with me, but I'm spending countless hours chasing somebody down who's not as committed. So I think those have been the challenges more than anything else. Everything else, I'll say, we've been pretty blessed to have worked through different circles and different opportunities, right? But I also remind people, nobody necessarily just kicked the door open for us. We showed up, we showed up, we showed up, and we showed up, and we worked. We showed up. I was always the first one there, the last one out, every day, and I still will continue to do that. So a lot of that brought success early on for us. But again, it was the things that we put together and where we wanted to be. So I would say just the confidence, and then trying to figure out, more or less what the business operations looks like, because it is just me and Lily, right? And I do most of the work. So
Well, I know Lily does a lot of work.
Thank you,
Numbers,
April.
numbers.
Thank you.
But we will take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to highlight how this power couple does it all together.
KLMOK Alamo Tejano 98.9 FM. San Antonio's 92.1. We are San Antonio. We'll be right back right after the Strofa F. Risto de tu Belo. Good Saturday morning. You are on with Life Stories with April Monterrosa.
Morenita, nariz respingada, boquita de rosa, rosa perfumada. Son tus besos los que me traen loco, por eso contigo a mí nada me falta. Morenita, cintura delgada, pechito abultado y muy bien formado. Cuando pasas a todos provocas con esas miradas que a mí me embrujaron. Quiero ser un rizo de tu pelo y besar después tu lindo cuello. Mirarme en tus ojos, que son dos luceros que brillan tan fuerte como los del cielo. Morenita, nariz respingada, boquita de rosa, rosa perfumada. Son tus besos los que me traen loco, por eso contigo a mí nada me falta. Morenita, cintura delgada, pechito abultado y muy bien formado. Cuando pasas a todos provocas con esas miradas que a mí me embrujaron. Quiero ser un rizo de tu pelo y besar después tu lindo cuello. Mirarme en tus ojos, que son dos luceros que brillan tan fuerte como los del cielo.
KLMOK Alamo Tejano 98.9 FM. San Antonio's 92.1. We are San Antonio, and we're back with Life Stories with April Monterrosa.
All right, welcome back. So we have some listeners from Washington, Uvalde, Ohio, Houston. So hi guys, thank you for tuning into Life Stories. So Robert and Lily, I have to share this with you. I'm not sure if I have. I might have with Robert, but my parents were a power couple. So my dad was an entrepreneur, and my mom assisted with all the background stuff. Back then they had the fax machine and the copies and all that stuff. Now we have the internet and it's a little more technology now, right? But I remember growing up when my dad left his 9 to 5 and went full-time entrepreneur. It was like a complete life change in our house. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she worked here and there to help out, and she did all the behind-the-scenes stuff, all the paperwork, and kept us in line, and and we all turned out all right. So, but I know what it's like as a kid, being a kid to entrepreneur parents. Shout out to my mom and dad. Hi, mom and dad. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot to run a household, to run a business, but you guys do it together. What is that like? Lily's gonna go first because I said.
Okay. Woo. Okay. So first, I'll be honest. So the word power couple, that's really strong. And it's a weird feeling being called a power couple. It's almost like it's an uncomfortable feeling because at the same time it's like it's pressure. um, I mean we appreciate the words, but I mean it's teamwork, and you know it wasn't always easy at the beginning. It's working with your spouse. It is hard. It is challenging. We have two different personalities. We have different strengths. And as we started building this business together, we had to learn how to also work together and, based off of our strengths. And I'm proud of, the relationship that we have built. But, there was definitely a lot of disagreements. We weren't always on the same page. But yes, but on how do we balance on everything is, you know, he's my number one supporter. He's there for me on everything that I need. He's my mentor. He's my coach, and we have each other's back. So our schedules are sometimes a little crazy. We have 3 to 4 events during the day, and we tag team with the boys. The boys literally rolled out of bed this morning. We told them last night, we're like, sorry kids, on your first day of your spring break, you're gonna have Christmas break, you're gonna have to get up early, like if you're going to school. And they were like, what? And this morning, so we're like, you can just roll out of bed, you're good. And so they're actually right behind us in the seating area. But so yeah, we do a good job of understanding our goals. We respect each other's goals. I think that's huge. I know we hear stories of their spouse not supporting their them on what they want to do, and we understand that. I admire him for everything that he has done, for accomplishing his goals, and we do a very good job of supporting each other. And we tag team with the boys, and you got this, you have dinner. I am really good at ordering pizza for my family. I have the Pizza Hut app, and anytime I'm at a meeting or event and I can't feed my family, I text Robert, pizza's on his way. So I am that mom. My poor kids and CPA guy, they eat pizza probably like every other day.
It's funny. I think that the stereotype power couple are two corporate people. That's usually what comes to mind, right, when people say powerhouse couple. But to me, you guys are a powerhouse couple because you're doing what you want, the way you want it, and you're building a family in the midst of all that. And you're examples to your children. Mm-hmm. Because I back to my childhood, I remember my parents. My dad, he had a contracting company during the day, and then he was a musician at night for fun and extra money, right? And my mom, our home was always immaculate. My mom always was put together, hair done, makeup done. You would have never known all the chaos at home. Mm-hmm. My brothers were in band. I was in cosmetology. I was always in something, and so were my brothers. But everyone always thought my parents were put together because they worked literally together. So when I see you guys and I see your boys, at events, and they're so well behaved and they're so cute, I'm like, man, that was probably us, like at my dad's events.
The perception, the house is a hot mess right now. We actually, after this, we have a meeting for our scholarship program. So, no, and then I had to learn, right? Because I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years, and so, and I, the house was always put together, and, and now, being this journey with, Robert, building our family business, I had to be okay with letting things like that go. The dishes do pile up, and and the boys, they leave everything everywhere, and the laundry doesn't get done. So that is the true reality behind the scenes on everything that we do.
Well, it's time to teach the boys some chores. How about
Well,
that?
no, they do. And actually, they do. Every Saturday morning, the boys get up and they do their chores. But we've been really busy the past 2-3 Saturdays that they've been getting away with doing their chores. And so yesterday I had them clean up because, like, we have people coming over tomorrow, and we have, we're party, radio show, everything going on. And it's so funny. On the way over here, our middle one, he goes, "Do we have anything tomorrow?" We were like, "No, we don't have anything tomorrow." He's like, "It's going to be a rest day for everyone."
All right, Robert, you're up. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean it's work. It's work, right? And good work. I mean, I think that anybody that looks at what we're trying to do or what we do as natural, that's a misconception, right? We have to we have to disagree, and we have to put one in front of the other at times. Like, it's just what we're supposed to do, and it's what we do. And so, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a point where Lily's going to step off of CPA guy and build something, right? I mean, and we don't know what that is yet, but there's a point there, and so that's what we're building towards, right? On some of those things, and putting her in a position to learn different skill sets, under this firm, and the things that we get to do, and the uniqueness of the firm. But yeah, I something real, right, to share is that we don't have a lot of support here, right? Her parents live in Houston. They do come down about once a month, and they support us when they can. If there's something big, they come down, and her mom will be down here for the week taking care of the boys. My mom's 80 something years old, right? So she's kind of up there in age. It's a little bit difficult for her to get down here. So we don't have a whole lot. Like, we try not to overextend friends and family on the things that we need to do. So we do a lot of logistical coordination on having the babysitters at what days, at what times, and so that'll be the divide and conquer. But also, we make sure that on Friday, with exceptions, that it's family fun night. Like, we absolutely will spend time with our kids and do movie nights or play Roblox with them or whatever it is that we need to do, because we want to be engaged, right? So make sure that, in the morning and night, good night, love you, we're walking to the bus stop. Like, those are the dynamics that are just absolutely, I mean, incredible for us, right? And I don't want to give that up, right? And that's also a struggle because you want to grow, and in growing, sometimes that's hard. Because when you grow, then you can't do some of those things. But I think really for us, it's just been a matter of the constant conversation every day. What went good? What went what didn't go good? What could we do better every day? And sometimes we take 5 steps forward, and some days we take 2 steps back.
For other couples that are entrepreneurs, that they're business partners, because in reality, you're business partners.
Mm-hmm.
What is a good piece of advice you can offer them as far as turning off the business part? Because you guys, you're all business all day, and then you're home at night. How do you turn that off?
That's a really good question, and I'll be honest, I'm still figuring it out because we work from home, so we're a virtual firm, and so we're home all day together, and then at the end of the night, we go to sleep in the same bed, but in our minds, we're always constantly thinking about how to grow our business, or we talk about what happened during the day. Working for ourselves, it's also an adventure because you never know, the phone call you're gonna get or the text message, but that's a hard question.
For me, I think, to get, so I absolutely love what I do. Like, I absolutely love what I do. There's times where I wake up, or I've gotten a call from somebody I never expected to get a call
Mhm.
from, or a shout out on Facebook, like, randomly, and it's just like, I'm really here. Like, that's crazy. And so for me, I don't want to turn off. Like, I don't, right? Every day I'm thinking about something, to build something, to grow something, to help somebody. I've got somebody's problems in my head, whatever. I'm okay with that. I think anybody trying to build something, you need to understand where you're okay. Where does that line for you? Don't use us as an example, right, for what we're doing to then emulate that. There are certain things, absolutely take care of, take what we're teaching you or telling you 100%. People need to come first. Your community comes first. Like, that's 100%. If you adopt that, you're going to be successful. I think also, though, it's understanding each other's strengths, right? Like, what does your spouse want to do? What is she best at, right? What is she happy with, and also then just making sure that you continue to think through those things. And so the leadership programs have helped us because we understand strength finders. We understand what our personalities are. So we know when we're kind of getting on each other's nerves, or doing things, or seeing that, yeah, she's not happy doing that. Like, I can sense it, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what else do you need to do? Do you need help with that? Do we need to pay somebody to do that? So I think that's a big part. I think you just have to have those conversations and be okay that if you decide that 5 o'clock is your cutoff,
Mhm.
or maybe it's the morning because you have your job, or your business is an evening type job, um, you have to be okay, right, with understanding that you may not get it right the first few times, and that's okay. So if you decide that if Friday is going to be your day and these things keep coming up, then reevaluate that and be okay, but be on the same page, because I think that's where we tend to have the bigger problems when we're kind of thinking for each other instead of talking with each other.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Keep up the good work. And we're going to take a short break. When we get back, they're going to share some money saving tips for families.
Yo quiero ser ya feliz, al fin poder sonreír. Yo ya no quiero seguir sufriendo sin un amor. Yo quiero ser ya feliz, tener con quien compartir mi vida entera. Se desespera en el dolor. Qué triste es vivir sin ser amado, mejor morir, a veces he deseado. Le pido a Dios, perdido en el llanto, me ayude a hallar el cariño anhelado, pues si yo quiero ser ya feliz. Yo quiero ser ya feliz, al fin poder sonreír. Yo ya no quiero seguir sufriendo sin un amor. Yo quiero ser ya feliz, tener con quien compartir mi vida entera. Se desespera en el dolor. Qué triste es vivir sin ser amado, mejor morir, a veces he deseado. Le pido a Dios, perdido en el llanto, me ayude a hallar el cariño anhelado, pues si yo quiero ser ya feliz.
KLMOK Alamo Tejano, 98.9 FM, and San Antonio's 92.1. We are San Antonio, and we're back. Life Stories with April Monterosa.
All right, welcome back. And we're here with Garcia of I Have a CPA Guy. And they're going to share 2 money saving tips for families and 2 money saving tips for businesses. So let's hit up the families first. 2, go.
I think for families, it's different. It's unique. I know I say this, and people want like the direct answer. You have to think about, first of all, I would just tell you, think about your budget, think about what you're spending. So one, if you're going out to eat a lot, that's probably an area that you really want to add up, right?
I'm just going to jump in real quick on that because, Everyone's complaining about high food costs at the stores, at the HEBs, at the Walmarts, and everybody's complaining, food's gone up, food's gone up. Last night, I was invited to a soft opening on the south side by Brooks, and every restaurant was jam packed. I mean, that's good and that's kind of bad because, we're complaining about food prices, yet we're going to go throw about $100 minimum on a dinner for four on one night when that can buy 3 or 4 days worth of food. Just putting it out there.
No, thank you. I mean, you're validating it, right? I mean, it's not to say that you can't go out or don't go out. It's just saying think about where you are and
Exactly.
where you want to be,
Right.
and sometimes we don't, right? So that's always one. Man, the second one. So the second one will actually be both, right? I think debt is another one, right? If we're putting money on credit cards and things, you have to understand what that interest rate is. And so sometimes when you're paying that bill, you're just making that payment, whatever it is, monthly payment, the minimum, whatever. Look at the interest amount in that, right? And so sometimes like that $100 a month is $1,200, and if you think about what that could do at the end of the year, that's a big thing, right? So it's really about just understanding your budget. Now, for small businesses, even more complicated, right? But products versus services are very different. For businesses, I think it's a matter of understanding what their burn rate is. And so when people ask, "What's that? What's that?" How much does it cost you to run your business a month? What's rent, insurance, payroll, all those things? Like understand that, and then understand what you need to bring in, and from there, when you start to invest in a new equipment or an additional employee, then you can start to look at kind of what that was going to do to your bottom line. So saving tips on that piece, though, look at your subscriptions. It's always a really big one. People buy stuff all the time. They have a Canva, they have a Dubsado, they have a Zoom, they have Microsoft, and sometimes they don't even use them anymore, or they bought something else and it just keeps recurring. So take a look at those things. You can also look at your insurance as well too. There's always, don't just keep renewing. Go and challenge it, right? After 6 months, a year, and get better rates. So those are two real quick areas that you can sort of take control of and actually, put some more money in your pocket.
Well, thank you so much for those tips. And thank you for sharing your story with us. Where can people find you?
Yes, please go follow us on Instagram at I Have a CPA Guy. And we are on Facebook, CPA Guy. And we also have TikTok, I Have a CPA Guy as well. And please follow our journey
I promise I won't teach you how to dance
no, on
or fake tax strategies on TikTok.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning into Live Stories. My name is April Monterosa, and I will see you next Saturday at 8 a.m.